of the Matter Tuesday is back. What's up, my people? How you're doing? You know what? It's by the grace of God that I just managed to make it back home in time for today's show. The traffic has been. Oh, my dear sister Ifel has joined. I'm waving right back at you. Thanks for joining it. You're number one. You're first to join in. Well done to you. How are you doing? How's your new single doing? Forgive me, I've not made contact with you. I will. I promise to call and yeah, we'll talk. Right. If you are on the road and trying to make it from Essex into Kent, this is my advice to you because I was trying to do the same. I live in Kent, trying to make my way across from Essex. The traffic is at its worst. So this is what I suggest you do if you're able to turn around and do it. Yeah, I continued on the A13 past the turning, the exit for M25 to come into Kent. I carried on, went past. My brother Checo Ankara is here and my guest is here. I'm waving at you. I'm going to bring you on in a couple of minutes. So you go past, what do I say? Thurrock exit and find your way around to the B156, I beg your pardon, to head past South Oakenden. Yes, so that you can go all the way to the A127 and then carry on to now join the M25 and now head back. That's the only way because the turnoff everywhere is closed. The Thurrock shopping center, well, not the shopping center itself, but the turnoff to join the exit road to join the M25 all shut down, closed off. You got no chance. I had called my guest on my way home to like say, you know, we might be calling this off, but God of miracles, who's my papa, oh, he made a way. I managed to make it just in time to prep myself. So yeah, she's here already and she's ready to go. She's ready to go. I'm really excited. My brother Checo Ankara, how are you? God bless you. Thank you for joining in. You are going to be my guest very soon on this show, and I'm looking forward to having you because I know that you have a lot to share. You're very quiet and all that, but you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience to share. Give me a thumbs up if I'm right. Okay, you know what? Much about I do about that. Let me invite my guest on and bring her on right now. Right, my jaw. Because this is gonna be great. We're talking about this lady. Man, the first time I heard her voice when I heard her singing, right? So you're in. So let me just carry on bigging you up. By the way, I like my gifts and Christmas gifts that you wrapped up all behind you. You you did your best to hide it from me, but the God of miracles has exposed it, so I can see it already.
You can expect it, yeah.
I will come and collect myself. Don't need to post.
No,
I'll send you the money.
no problem. No problem. I just thought I'd show off a bit and show how organized I am with my kids' presents.
No, what do you mean kids present? Your kids present is that tree. All the boxes. That's all mine. Just don't worry. Don't.
Hiya, FL. God bless you, girl.
Yeah, she's there. She's there.
Bless
Wow.
her.
God of miracle has answered us. I was pretty much ready to tell you that I don't think it will be
I
happening
was
today,
getting
but
ready
I
to
got
post a
in just in
message.
time. Oh wow, look at that, look at that. By the way, I'm loving your glasses. It's
Thank
unique.
you.
It makes you
Thank
look
you.
like a comic hero.
Yeah, nice
We
shots.
might,
It comes from Nigeria, so a touch of class.
okay, so which Nigerian comic hero shall we liken you to then? If there's one.
There used to be, I can remember what in Ondo State then, there used to
Okay.
be this program, and there's
Uh-huh.
this guy they used to call a Jiggy Jaga.
Ajigi Jaga. Wow, man.
That's one of the
Unfortunately,
comic heroes. A Jiggy Jaga.
unfortunately, DC Comics won't sign him up. That character, they won't sign that character. Unfortunately. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Oh, dear. I tell you, they'll shoot that guy in a film, Then they shoot him. He's like, ah. Next 5 minutes, ah. The next few minutes, ah. The guy just wouldn't die. Jimmy
Oh
died.
my goodness. You know what? You saying that just reminded me of the first time I heard Basket Mouth, the comedian, when he
Oh yeah,
shared it. The first time, you know, a friend of mine went from Nigeria, brought a CD of the something to laugh, time to laugh, or something like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the joke the guy told that really cracked me up was this. He said some of the Nigerian actors back then that they're just rubbish actors. Like, can you imagine on this side? Here's I think you know this joke already. Here's the police officer, and they're
Yeah,
trying to police officers, and they're
yeah,
trying to catch the thieves here. And the officer say, "Stop! You are
yeah,
under arrest."
yeah.
No, I will not stop. If you don't stop, I will shoot you now. No,
Ah!
you cannot shoot me.
Ah!
Okay, I'll shoot you. Bah, 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 ah, ah, ah. You have shot me. Now I will die.
Ah! No, but that's how it is. That's how it is. And say what you like, Nollywood is next to Hollywood now. So hey,
We've come
you
a
know,
long way. Let's put
it's
it
come
that
a
way.
long
We've come
way.
a very long way.
Yeah.
But Lord have mercy. It's all good. It's all good. Well, hey, listen, it's great to have you on this
Thank
talk
you.
show.
Thank
And
you.
I was just saying that the first time I came to that I saw you, that I knew about you was right on the let me see which one was the first. It was yes, it was Lady T. I think it was Lady T and uh what's his
Evans,
name?
was that synergy?
No, no, it's not Synergy. Before that,
Okay.
they
Oh,
played your
okay.
track. They played your track. I think it was Lady T and Nikki Gilchrist. I think it was on Premier
Okay.
Radio. They
Okay. All
put it,
right.
and then they shut themselves in the studio playing your track, and then they like listen to this, and I heard it, and I'm like, okay, this obviously is not in London. This is America. Forget it. And then she now
All
went
right.
on to say, wow,
Femi
it's good to
Dada.
have.
Hey. Sorry,
Um,
Wally. I'm just saying hello to my producer, Femi Dada, my main man, apart from my
Femi Dada, you
husband.
the man. She's been singing your praises so much. In fact, I need to find you for the praises she's singing to you. So you pay your tithe and offering. Anyway, let's leave that. But basically, I heard your voice and I like, whoa. And then she went to say, oh, this is another UK gospel artist. I said, no, impossible. Okay, maybe she's an American import or export or something that's come to live in the UK and just here for a while. And God will help us to kick her back so that she doesn't take
I
over.
wish.
But I now came to know that listen, we're even so we probably from the same village and all that. So
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, but you have an amazing, unique tone and delivery
Thank you.
on your
Thank you.
songs that just captures. And I think as it also balances well with the energy with which you deliver,
Mhm. Thank you.
which is just
Thank
great.
you.
And thank God you do it for the gospel, because that would have been another one, that's gone into secular
Absolutely.
industry and the rest of it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
thank God you do it for the gospel. Well, let's
Hallelujah.
let's 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 start with you. How did it start with you? No, no. If I let's start. Family background. Family background. What are you? An only child? Are you the first child? Are you the last born? Are you? Uh, what was your family setup like or setting like? Come on, let us know.
Family setup. An only girl, and I have 4 brothers.
One girl, four brothers.
Yeah.
Para
One
go.
girl, 4 brothers. Was
Oh my.
born in Hackney. I
No
was born
kidding.
in Hackney and spent first couple of years of my life in Hackney, and then I think about 5 years in Peckham before my
Wow.
mum took us all back down to Nigeria.
The whole works. So it was first Hackney and then Peckham. You
And
are
then
you
Peckham.
are, you are truly the daughter of the soil, the son of the soil, like this.
Absolutely.
Listen, if
Oh
you be,
dear.
if you've lived in Peckham and Hackney, you can live
Hackney.
anywhere in the world, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Anywhere in the world. Yes. I'm very
Oh wow.
streetwise. very streetwise.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Great. So, okay, you're the only girl with four brothers. Wow. How did that pan out? Did they try to? Well, they must have treated you well. Obviously, they definitely treated you well. But did they influence you in any way? As in you having a manly character to yourself back then?
You know what? That's a funny question you should ask right there, because some people who have seen me minister have said, they said, I can remember a particular pastor invited me to come and sing, and I went to sing in his church. And his wife goes to me afterwards, Nikki, you must have been very troublesome when you were young.
Okay. Oh,
Because,
wow.
you know, I've been to their church a couple of times, and I'm just, you know, through the roof, very dramatic, you know, and so just looking at you. And it just takes me back, you know, this question that you have asked, you know, because I can even remember when I was doing my driving lessons at one point. And the
Okay.
driver goes to me, you're an aggressive driver.
Oh my
One
goodness.
how to handle that wheel, you know, and bring it on, where you know.
Oh
And
my
growing
goodness.
up with these brothers, they would be tumble fighting, you know, like boys would, and I just jump on top of them. And
Oh
we
my
all,
word.
I wasn't going to be left out, no way.
There
So,
you
you
go.
know,
There you go.
I like, you know, I remember back then the girls, you know, would have the tomahawks. I wanted the drifter. There was this bike they called the drifter, you know, and that was with the big handles. And, you know, I think, you know, it kind of prepared me to be a bit aggressive. So when you see me on stage, you know, just pumping it out like that, you know, you get me? You feel me?
Let me ask you a sensitive question. Do
Ah,
do
God.
do you wrestle your husband?
Oh, Tanya
Do you
isn't
Nikki
in.
style?
Tanya is not in right now. I'm telling you. My husband said, Nikki, the harassment me. I just love it. Honestly, I'm not even lying. Lying is an abomination unto God. I would just pounce on that man. But then, you know, I think when I don't do it, he misses it. Because I can remember one day he came and it's like, oh, tears, you know, oh, tears.
I
So
hear
yeah,
you. I hear you. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
very much like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
listen,
you've got me to a T.
we've got a few of our sister friends here. Sister Shola is here. Constance Jones is here saying a big hello to you. And in fact, Sister Shola is laughing at you
I love
already.
Constance. I love Constance. She knows I love her. FL. I love these girls.
Wonderful.
You know, we're all in the
Wonderful.
same choir right now.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so unfair. You guys are just unfair. You manage so it's all good. I have only one expression for you. There is God, though. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
right, right. Praise God.
Oh, so now you said in your bio that you know you grew up listening with your dad, listening with your dad to the all-time greats like you know Jim Reeves, like Cliff Richards, like Miriam Makeba, Nat King Cole, Elverly Brothers.
Yeah, yeah,
Now to the current generation. I think maybe one or two names out of those will ring any bell. They're like, who are
yeah,
those?
yeah.
Whether
Very
they
old.
grew up with Abraham or what? What was it about them that influenced you, or what was it that you know that what did they have that sort of you identified with, if I can ask that?
What did they have? I think growing up, my dad liked music, and
Right,
sometimes you just take on, you know, what your parents like.
correct. That's
And
right.
I mean, even back then, some of these songs that I've listed were old for me, even as a youth. Then they were old. They were
Right,
like my dad's generation. But
right.
it was just an honor, you know, to sit with my dad. He'd come, he'd bring out his records. You knew it would be a musical night when he started bringing out his records and he started cleaning them and he went
Cleaning
closer to
that,
the
yeah,
gramophone.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it was just sitting there listening to different flavors. Because you know, Nat
Right.
King Cole is completely different from Miriam Makeba,
Yes,
completely different from Jim Reeves, which is
correct.
like country.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just these different kind of flavors, and it just taking that in. I don't really know. I think the real influence for me that gave me my kind of like basic interest in music, but the
Right.
real influence for me. I don't want to
Okay.
jump ahead of myself because I have a feeling you might ask me about my life in Nigeria, but it was when I
Oh
got to
yes.
Nigeria
Yeah.
that I
Mm-hmm.
really now began to listen to the kind of music I believe is influencing the way I'm singing today.
In fact, now that you said it, coming to Nigeria, you were exposed to hip hop, R&B, disco,
So yeah,
all that. What was it? Were they not in circulation when you were in the UK, or was it just that you didn't?
no,
You were
they were not
exposed
in
to them.
circulation. I went to not back to Nigeria, but first time of going to Nigeria in 1980, and I can remember back then the people that were topping the charts then they were ABBA. You had
Right.
ABBA. You had Gary Glitter. I don't know if any of you know Gary Glitter. Awful singer.
Absolutely. We all know Gary Glitter. Yes.
Um, oh, what was the name of this?
Was it
Hey,
Queen? Was it Queen?
little girl. No, Queen. No, 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 not Queen at my time.
Okay.
There was a Boney M. There was Boney M.
Bonnie.
There was Michael
Right.
Jackson. I can remember.
Uh-oh.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on
Woo!
the moonlight. Don't blame it on the sky. Blame it on the rain. I remember that. Exactly. That 1979. So Michael Jackson was about the only one that was on the chart, and Stevie Wonder.
Right.
Then.
Okay.
So when I got to
Can't blame my
Nigeria, it
uncle,
was a
man.
different flavor. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a different flavor when I
Bless
got
you.
to Nigeria.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what was it about them that really okay, before I even ask that, was your dad musical, or was he just a lover of good music?
He just loved good music. I think
Right.
he could have been musical if he hadn't sold himself short. I think he really had the gift to be musical, but
Wow. Okay.
too much
Right.
was going on, you know. So
Right.
no, but he
Okay.
loved music,
He
and
loved
my
music.
interest in music came from him.
Him. Okay. And was the family musical? Was it just you? Your brothers, anything? Were they musically inclined? Your
No,
mom?
you know, funny enough, I'm the only one who picked it. My brothers, I'm the only one who picked it. My older brother likes music, and he appreciates my music. He likes music. He tells me
Okay.
when I'm awful, and he tells me when I'm good. But I'm the only
Just
one
when
who
they're
really,
off.
yeah, he tells me when I'm awful.
Okay, I
But
like that.
I'm the only one who really picked it, and
Right.
yeah.
Okay. From there. And was this a Christian family setting, or were you guys not exactly Christians at the time? Was
Oh
anything
my
really?
gosh, you're digging, you're fishing, aren't you?
Well, hey,
No,
hey,
no, no, no,
until we
no.
until we catch that tilapia. Let's go.
It was very, very, very highly unchristian. My father was an alcoholic. It was a very rough
Okay.
background. I mean, to be quite frank with you, back in those days, in the early 70s up until the early 80s,
Right.
quite a number of African families, and not just African, I think black families in this country, even
Right.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids growing up in those kinds of black kids, we had a really tough time because
Okay.
our parents, it's not like now where blacks have been here for quite some time, and the
Okay.
whites are now
Yeah.
really used to us, even though there
Yeah.
still is racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back then they would tell you as it is. Back then they would tell you, why don't you go back to the jungle and swing in the trees? It
Wow.
was, and I think it was a culture shock for a lot of our parents that came here in the late 60s,
Wow.
70s. It was a culture
Yeah.
shock. And
Yeah.
quite a number of them, would start drinking alcohol. My dad became an alcoholic,
Right.
and our family was just a bit messed up, to be quite frank. Thank God for my mother. My mother was such a strong rock. That poor woman. Uh, where I come from, they will say my eyes saw my my mother's eye. My mother's eyes saw in my father's
Oh
in
my
my father's
goodness.
company,
Oh my
and
Lord.
it was really tough. No, we were not Christians at all. We were not taught to go to church. Mommy, daddy didn't take us. Although mommy used to tell us that she would go into church and pray every once in a while. No, we never went. We never went.
Okay. Wasn't that exactly in the Christian? So, well, how did the transition happen for you when you came to Nigeria? What did you just find? Did you find yourself in a Christian setup or something? How did that journey happen for you? The
Well,
conversion,
Nigeria,
so to say. No, I
Nigeria is
mean
really,
from being no exposure to Christianity, no Christian life per se, to
yeah,
becoming a Christian. What happened? Was it
yeah,
a road to Damascus experience, like I always ask, or was it what was? Let me leave it to you to tell us what happened.
yeah. I think, um, well, in Peckham, I went to this school called Camelot, and Camelot was a real, they used to teach us a lot of prayer. So I
Okay,
understood, I can't really say I understood Christianity, but the concept of God, by the time I got to Nigeria in 1980, was
right,
familiar with me. Now, Nigeria is
right,
very different. It always has been because they're spiritual. It's either they're
okay,
doing that other side or they're doing the Christian side. So the
that's
family we
correct.
first of all moved in with in Nigeria were Christians. But to be
Okay,
quite frank with you, for the first, I would say, maybe 10 years of being in Nigeria, I didn't really get Christianity. I didn't want to be involved. I
wow,
wasn't really a messed up child, in spite of the
right,
fact that I had a very tough childhood in Peckham.
right,
Um, but when I now went to A levels, I went for
right.
A levels in a school called Oyemekun Grammar School, and that's in Akure.
Okay,
And in my second year, sorry, what were you
okay.
going to say?
I thought you were going to say in Lagos because my secondary school was very close to Oyemekun Grammar School in Agege. But
No
okay,
kidding. There was
Akure.
an Oyemekun Grammar. Really interesting.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, okay. No, this was in Akure in Ondo State. And
Okay,
in my second year,
right.
there were these girls. To be quite frank with you, I hated them. You know,
Wow.
there were these Christian sisters. They just wouldn't let us rest. You know, I don't know if you know those kind of Christians that just rapo shekere,
Oh,
you know, every minute.
okay,
Prayer,
okay.
prayer, prayer, holiness, holiness. You couldn't talk, you couldn't walk, you couldn't do anything. They always made you feel bad. So I just hated them. And I can remember a friend of mine, we said then that, you know what, if the whole world gets saved, not
Yeah,
us, this
not
is their
you.
salvation. This is their
Yeah.
salvation, not us and them, you know?
Oh my
So,
goodness.
but then the second year, I don't know what happened. So these girls, one of them, I began to friend one of them, and she didn't look down on me.
Right,
I
okay.
think this is something we really need to learn. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's something we really need to learn in Christianity because I think we're quite condescending sometimes when it comes to unbelievers. But anyway, she didn't look down on me. We began to move together. We became friends. And she would, you know, minister Christ. If I did something wrong, she'd very gently, very
right, right.
sensibly
Okay.
correct me and blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
And so one day, one of the Christian sisters comes to me. She says, Nikki, let's go and pray. And I said, okay, let's go. No big deal. Let's
Okay.
go.
All
There
right.
used to be this man in Nigeria called Ibueneme. I don't know if you ever heard of Ibueneme. He was a deliverance minister. He's
Okay.
dead now.
Okay.
But he came to Oyemekun then and he did this deliverance ministration.
Right.
And that ministration for me was an eye-opener. Because all
Right.
of a sudden I was sitting there thinking, Ewa, there's something more than the secular realm. This is
Mm,
different.
right.
Because, you know, I didn't really get it, but people began to manifest. And then at one point, the spirit came on me. I couldn't even control myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something. So when this girl said, Nikki, let's go and pray, I thought, okay, maybe another spiritual experience. Let's go.
Experience as such.
And we
Okay.
went. And one of them began to prophesy. And she began to call my name. It's like God was speaking to me through her. And he kept on saying, I'll never forget this. The girl who called me to go and pray is a girl called Joke Arodoye. And she's
Right.
in London now. And the girl who was prophesying, God was saying, Nikki, serve me, because the day of judgment will be terrible. That's what she kept on
Wow.
saying. But it wasn't even that saved me. It was the fact that she began to say things about my dad that I knew nobody knew.
Oh wow.
And I was like, wow. And then
Mhm.
God began to say, Nikki, I love you. I love you more than anyone in the world. Now, I couldn't stop crying because, as I told you, I grew up with a father who was alcoholic.
Yes, you did
And
say.
it was very rough. Half the time he was beside himself. And yes, I would sit there. And that's why music meant so much to me. Because the
Right.
times he would bring out his records, those were the same times. Those were the times we had
Right.
peace and sanity. And so I loved those
Right.
times so much and
Yeah.
just settled
Yeah.
into that. And
Wow.
so now here is a father. Yes, I can't see this father, but he's telling me I love you. I love you more than anyone in the world. I couldn't stop crying. There was a presence in the room that night. I cannot explain it. It was electric. And even though I wasn't saved, I wasn't so much saved. That was the day I thought to myself,
Yeah.
Christians have been talking to me a long time about hell, 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 scaring the living daylights out of me. But this God is talking to me about love. Love I can identify with.
Yeah.
I will serve this God. And that was when I made up my mind to become a born-again Christian, settle down with the Lord.
Wow. Wow. You know, there's quite a number of things I can say about that. First
I
of
can
all,
hardly hear you, you know.
oh, can you? Okay. Hold on.
I don't know what that is.
I think something happened when you, I think maybe a call came
Yeah,
through.
my
You messed up
husband
yourself.
called at one point.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
And
Is
let
it
me
getting
see.
better? If you go to your sound settings and see, because sometimes that happens when calls come through for me, but then I end up not hearing my calls. Or do
I
you
don't know
have
what it is. Sorry?
headphones, earphones?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to shout for my son.
Okay, let's do it.
Bear with me. Samuel!
Samuel, yo!
Sam! Give me a second, please. Or else he won't do this.
Everybody, let's help our call Samuel. Ready? 1, 2, go. Samuel, yo! Only your bad. Only you will not say. I know. Anyway, she's gonna get her headphones and then we'll carry on. For those who are here already, thank you for staying on. There's still 4 of you. I really appreciate that. Olomo, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Olomo Lab. Please, I'm sorry, I'm calling. Is it Olomola Bola? Oh, yeah, but thanks for joining in. If you're still there, please forgive me. Yeah, I did improvement on
So
my name.
sorry about this, guys.
All right.
Let
But
me
people,
just see if this will work. Okay. Talk. Let me see if I can. Oh, yeah, much better.
is that much better?
That's
Hallelujah. Don't worry. All 4 of us who are watching, we help to call Samuel. I told everybody on the count of 3 to shout Samuel. So
we got there. Oh gosh.
oh, fantastic! Right. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
based on what you said already, or so far, there again, it yet again shows how God has an incredible sense of humor. Right. You were talking about how your background was anything but Christian. It was definitely not. Right. Trust me, there's somebody right here watching who is here right now.
Yeah.
When he was younger, they were idol worshippers.
Oh no.
No kidding. She was an idol worshiper, but she's now she's a pastor.
Hallelujah.
Right. Absolutely. And then last week, with Emmanuel Smith, how God has this sense of humor when you're doing your own thing and you say, you know what? No Christian stuff for me. I don't want to do all this Christian stuff.
Yeah.
And God is just standing laughing and say, Charlie, if only you know what I have for you. It's so good.
Very true.
Yeah, but God nevertheless,
Very,
he
very
comes
true.
through, and when he uses us, it's the comparison, it's almost so diametrically opposite each other. Like how could God bring
it's
someone from this
amazing.
extreme and now you have such love that it's almost
Yeah.
untouchable. And you know what? You are right in one other statement you made there, which we a few years ago, I think about 3 years ago, we had Bishop Mike Okonkwo come to our church for our conference.
Okay.
And he buttresses this point that, listen, Jesus did not give us a message of hell and gloom and doom to preach. Jesus did not say, go and start preaching, you go to hell if you don't. Jesus was preaching about the kingdom, mostly about the kingdom.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about being born again was mentioned once, and which is to say, for you to get into this kingdom, the access is that you be born again, because you're born of the flesh at the moment. You need to be born of the spirit.
Absolutely.
So, trying to convert people by selling them hell.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It
Like
just
my
scares.
pastor said a few years ago, somebody tried to invite a friend to their church. Say, come to our church and you receive fire.
Oh my God! You receive fire.
You see the fire of the Holy Spirit.
Fire rise, fire rise. I bet you that one said no, thank you.
No, in fact, that one said, you know what? Can we change jobs? I don't want to come.
Woo,
Oh my
hallelujah.
goodness.
Oh
Right.
gosh.
So listen, okay, so the conversion, this was how you came into Christianity, and then you were exposed, you now started listening to gospel arts like Fred Hammond, BB and CC Winans,
Helen
Aretha
Baylor. Yeah.
Franklin, Helen Baylor, and all that, to the point that you actually wanted to be the next Diana
Oh
Ross.
yes, 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 yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
glory
I
to
did.
God.
I
Because
did.
that's our Diana Ross from Nigeria. But nevertheless, how did you come about gospel music? What was it? Since was it when you became a Christian, you found yourself others playing gospel music, or how did you come about gospel music?
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, when I got to Nigeria,
Yes.
in 1980, the people that were hitting the charts then, you had this group called, there was Shalimar. I think Shalimar came a bit later, but
Okay.
in Evelyn Champagne King,
Okay.
Chic, a Dynasty. These were the guys that were hitting it then. Obviously Michael Jackson.
Right.
And so Diana Ross, I used to watch Diana Ross, and I think it was when I got to Nigeria that I had my first experience of Diana Ross, and I just loved her stage. I loved her stage performance. She
Okay.
would connect with her audience.
Right.
It's just so beautiful. She was so at home on stage,
Right.
at ease.
Right.
So I thought I'd like to be like this woman, and I'd always said, you know what, I'm going to be I'm going to be into secular. I'm going to sing. And so when I became saved, I thought, and you know how it is in Nigeria. I mean, last week we were discussing secular music with Emmanuel, weren't we?
Yeah.
So you know how it is. SU, I got saved into SU. They're not going to encourage you to listen to secular music. So I told myself, okay, now I'm saved. No more Diana Ross or no more what. I'm going to sing for Jesus now. I'm going to do Diana Ross style for Jesus. I'm going to do all these artists style for Jesus. I'm going to bring it home for Christ. So that was when, I decided I'm going to go completely gospel. And, when we were talking to Emmanuel Smith last week about secular, I couldn't help but think, I was saying last week that this thing is for some people, it's not for everyone. And I just thought to myself, could I even do secular? And I thought, you know what, I've been doing gospel so long now, I don't even know if I would know how to do secular. I listen to secular. I listen a lot to old school music. So every now and then I just get into that space where I listen, because, you're looking for different styles in your music and all of that. But I don't know if I could actually do it. But that's how I got into gospel. So now I started listening to people like Fred Hammond, Helen Baylor, and I loved Helen Baylor because her range is quite like her range. Kind of like that husky voice. So I thought, I think I can identify with this lady. So I started thinking, you know what? These guys are doing it for Christ. I can do it for Christ too. Right.
Now, when you started doing that, was that well received by people, or were they like, you're sounding, you don't sound Christian, or was it like, yeah, man, bring it on?
I think when I started doing music proper, well, not proper, but just dabbling into it, it was when I was in university. Okay. And that was in Ondo State University, which is now Ekiti State University. That was the university I went to. Yeah. Right. So the church English and Literary Studies.
Oh, wow. Oh, excuse you. Oh, English.
That was what I studied, yeah. Okay. And quite a number of the students began to come into the church I was going to then, and the church was called Shalom. They started coming into the church through me. Even my husband, we were both in uni together. He came into the church with his friends through me. So when I started doing I can remember then, I loved to sing this Helen Baylor's, this love is really real. Nothing can take you away from me. And this was a kitty. This was a village. But because you had all these university students, they didn't mind, So they would bop with me. And I can remember there with this guy in the middle of the song that would come up and he would begin to rap. you know, in the middle of the song. So it wasn't bad. It was accepted in that sphere at that time. Unfortunately, I never really developed my music in Nigeria. It wasn't until I came to England that I really started singing proper. It was just about, music was just about taking off for me. I was just about getting invites bit by bit in Nigeria, but it was at that point that I came to London in 1997. So yeah.
Right. And at this point in time where your parents are aware of your musical aspirations, and where did they think, if they were, did they just think a little bit like, well, it's just a hobby thing? Or did they spot anything like a potential or a different direction you might want to pursue? Okay, your chocolate, I like that.
What? Like the father that was which one? The father that was half gone half the time. The poor mother that was struggling to make ends meet. God forgive me. No,
now your papa they talk about you. So. Oh my goodness.
My gosh. My dad liked my dad, let me tell you a bit of a story here.
Okay.
So we had this problem with my father, didn't we, when I was young? So my mother had to leave London with her children without my dad knowing. That was how bad the situation got, because she told us that she thought if she didn't leave, he would one day kill her. She stayed with him for about 13 to 14 years.
Right.
But she said that her fear was that if she didn't leave, he would one day kill her. So what she did back then, you could buy stuff in a shop and be paying bit by bit for it in the shop and leave it there. So she did that. Yeah, she used to do that. She brought a whole load of stuff and was paying for it bit by bit. And when she was ready to travel, she paid for my ticket, my brother's, and herself. She and then she got a, what do they call those people who take stuff to Nigeria, to the cargo people. She got the cargo people to go from shop to shop where she had bought stuff and take the stuff back to Nigeria for her. And then back then they had what they used to call battered women's homes.
Right.
So what she did was she took us out of the house. She took us to a battered woman's home. So my dad thought, because this had happened several times, where if he beat her, she'd take us to a battered woman's home for some time and then she'd come back. So he thought, okay, she's gone to a battered woman's home. She's going to be there for a couple of weeks. She'll come back home. But her strategy was to go from there to Nigeria. And that's what we did. So my dad didn't know we were in Nigeria until we got there. So for some reason, he seemed not to be able to live without her. He came to Nigeria a year later. But she didn't want him anymore. So he had to stay on his own. She stayed on her own. So he liked the fact, going back to your question, when both of them are now in Nigeria, he liked the fact that I liked music, obviously. But I don't really think he thought it could go anywhere. I mean, to be quite frank with you, I don't really think he was all there enough to know, you know, whether it could go anywhere. The man was with his bottle. That's what he loved. And God bless him. God bless him. You know, he did what he could. But that's why as parents, we need to be careful, because, you know, the impressions you lay upon your children is what they will carry for life.
Well, that is true. That is very true. If anything at all, well, first of all, regardless of, you know, his shortcomings, for the fact that he did some good, he brought you to this world, and he definitely looked after you until maybe your mom thought, you know, she had to make a different she left. She made an impression on, I mean, he made an impression on you that has, you know, propelled you to bring you to this place. So there's always something to.
I'll tell you something funny. My older brother used to say, my older brother would say, Nikki, that man might not have left us anything, but he left us a British passport, access to Britain. He said, we thank God for that. We thank God for the fact that we're not stuck in Nigeria all our lives. At least that one thing he gave. No, he was it's unfortunate. He was a civil servant in Nigeria.
Okay.
There are things I remember about him that are good. You know, my mom, she didn't used to give us money that much, but daddy always used to give us money to go and buy sweets and all sorts of stuff. I now understand why. It's because the woman was the one paying the bills. So she couldn't afford to give us money to buy sweets. And my mom, let me tell you a bit of a story here. It's a bit of story so that you all know who Nikki Seriki is. Wow. My mom said that, I need you to know how tough some women have had it. My mom said that there was a time in London in the late 60s, I think, early 70s. She used to get £24 a week. Okay. And she said to me, she said, Nikki, I would give your dad £23 for peace. And then the £1 I will manage. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was why after all those years, she had to leave. She had to leave and go back to Nigeria. It was rough. It was rough. But, you know, God is an amazing God, because the Bible says that God takes the beggar from off of the dunghill and he sets him among princes. If there is a prayer right now, I am right now in a fast where I'm praying for my kids. Father, let my children know you. Because Mr. Wole Awolola, I tell you this.
Yes, ma'am.
I have come to learn in my lifetime, there is no greater gift a man can give you than knowing God. And I'm just praying, Father, let my children learn to have relationship with you, because I don't know what I would have become if not for God finding me and calling me out of darkness, taking me from all this mess, you know, and setting me among princes. And when I say princes, I'm talking about the children of God. I'm not even talking about rich people. I'm talking about the flock of the Almighty. It is a honor and the greatest privilege to be a part of the household of God. It changed my life completely, because sometimes I sit there thinking, I was so messed up when I was a kid. I could have turned out to be, I don't know, just a crazy, you know. And so I'm saying, I know you, because, man, I just love this life now. I don't have it going on. Can you hear me? It's like you're okay. I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory. Life has been tough. 2020 hit me in the face, pow. I can't even tell you how it hit me. It, like, you know, when pow, just like, you know, when
you're not on your own on that one. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, in the cartoons, when they hit and then they're stars. Yeah, that's the kind of stars I'm talking about. No, I'm saying, but
wow, yeah.
But there's just something about the peace God gives you in the midst of the storm. And I'm praying, if my children can just know you, God, I don't care. Whatever they go through, they will have peace.
Hey, wow. Now you just shifted the conversation, man. You just shifted.
Yeah.
It was gonna come to that anyway. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
very quickly, let me just, before I pass the comments, some people have joined in, and I'm glad to let you know there's someone called Topway Properties, and especially my wife just joined.
Oh, all right, girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go, man.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, don't worry. When this lockdown is over, I'll hook you guys up when we meet up.
Yes,
and we get to see her,
yes, please.
Get to see the woman who's made this fine boy.
Hey,
who claimed this fine boy?
Come on now. Husband to one woman. Husband to just one woman.
Only one, no. One.
Another woman is a counterfeit.
In fact, the devil is a liar. Let's leave it at that. I've got Jack. Day Spring. Thank you for
joining.
Ayo AYD Graphics. I one and only Ayo.
Hey, Ayo, man.
Is the man. Season's greetings, Day Spring. Thank you so much, yo. And Sister Shola, she's put a thumbs up.
God bless you, Shola.
Yeah, come on, somebody. That's you know what? So that segues nicely into the next question. So yourself and your husband, how did you meet, and how did the magic come about?
Wow. So so I was saved in 1988. That was in A levels, right? I got into uni 2 years later.
Okay.
When I got into uni, year one, And when I was in A levels, I used to know a girl. So when I got into year one, on matriculation day, I can remember this guy coming up to me saying, "Oh, Nikki, do you know so and so?" And I said, "Yeah, I know her. We used to be in A levels together." "Oh," he said, "she's my twin sister." "Oh," I said, "Really? That's great, fantastic. Your twin sister, okay." And then I don't remember seeing that boy again. The next time I remember seeing him or taking notice of him was year 3.
Okay.
So this was the latter end of year 3.
Okay.
And I can remember one day, I'm just sitting down in the class and this guy walks in. And I look at him, I think, he looks quite cute. Taiwo's looking quite cute.
Okay.
So, but since year 1, I was very ice queen. The guys knew me as no nonsense Nikki. And to be quite frank with you, I passed out best student of the year in my set. So people knew me because from year 1 to the end, I'm not really that bright. I just got lucky, to be quite frank with you. So they knew me, but they knew that I was ice queen. I was no nonsense. Remember I told you I got saved in SU. So they used to tell us, if a boy comes up and he tries to shake you, don't shake his hand. You must not shake it.
Right.
So I was like, I was like that. And I was also known because of my accent, because this was the accent I had in Ado-Ekiti. To have an accent like this in Ado-Ekiti. So I stood out. They knew me. So I was no nonsense.
So the British accent was still there.
Oh, it was there. They used to call me Voice of America.
Okay.
Then, yeah. So I'm in year 3.
Right.
My dad died. Just as I was going into year 3.
Right.
So as bad as I might have thought that man was, when he died, I felt like a male covering had kind of shifted.
Wow.
I felt exposed. And year 3, all of a sudden, I'm thinking all this time, I'm just concentrating on my academics and the faith, All of a sudden, I begin thinking, I wouldn't mind having a boyfriend.
Wow.
It's funny, it was when my dad died that I began to think, it's amazing. Anyway, wow. But before I got into uni, my mother took me somewhere to pray. One of a CAC lady. Some of those CAC people can prophesy. They see. So this lady, she prayed for me that day, and she said some things nobody else could have known. And then she said to me, "Don't start having boyfriends until you leave school." That's what she said. Right. So in uni, year 3, I'm thinking I want to have a boyfriend. Right. And then I'm looking at Taiwo coming into the class, and he's all that. Yeah. And he's looking cool, and I'm noticing him like, okay. Yeah. And then God knows how to do. So one day I'm in the bus, and this is where I'm going to encourage you people, do the work of God, because one day, then I used to like to preach in buses. Okay. I'm one of those people. Do you remember that in Nigeria where you get on the bus and somebody, "I greet you in the name of God"? I used to be one of them. Correct. So Ado-Ekiti, I'm sitting beside this guy in a bus, and I'm preaching to him, and the guy is really interested. The guy is saying, "Yeah, I like what you're saying. Come and follow me up." He gave me his address. I go there to follow him up. Guess who was there? Taiwo. Taiwo is one of his best friends. Right. Oh. Yes. Okay. And so this is where it starts. So Taiwo walks in, and I'm like, "Oh, Taiwo," and he's like, "Oh, Nikki, hey," I'm like, "Okay, right." All right. And I can remember something that day. I remember he came into the room. They were playing some music. He was looking in the mirror and he was dancing. You know those films where they show Cupid shoot an arrow? And the arrow goes and hits somebody and the person just falls in love. There was something in that room that day. As I saw him standing in front of the mirror moving, my heart just went back, 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 back. Hey. You have shot me. I will now fall in love. Absolutely. I just this is love. Anyway. And the problem was though, Taiwo was not born again.
Aha.
So I now went to the Lord and I said, God, this guy, if he does not come to show his interest in me, I'm not going to forget it. I won't woo him. I feel for him, but I won't woo him. Now, from then on, from that meeting onwards, Taiwo now began to get really interested. His friends that I preached to apparently wanted me to follow him up because he wanted to go out with me. So it wasn't a Christian thing. He wanted to go out with me. But from then on, I began to take an interest in Taiwo. And that was easy for me because Taiwo is in my class. His friend was in another class.
Right.
So I would see the friend on campus and I would say to the friend, have you seen Taiwo? The friend would be like, why are you looking for Taiwo? What is this Taiwo thing? Anywho, I think
you were driving him up the wall. That kind of question.
Do you know that song? You remember there used to be a song back then? How did you know? Oh, what was that? How did you know that I had a feeling you found out? I've got this crush on you.
Me, I was
you never heard that one?
I don't know anything.
Anyway, there was a friend of mine who I confided in, and I told him I really liked Taiwo. And he went to tell him. I didn't even know. It was recently my husband was telling me, oh, Tunde told me you liked me back then. Can you imagine? So anyway, a year later, we didn't actually start going out until our final year. So that woman's instruction to me, actually, we didn't. So eventually, he wasn't saved and he had girlfriends. But he told me on the day he wooed me, he said, listen to me, Nikki. He said, look, I've got girls I'm going out with. I'm going to lay them off one by one, but let me do it in my time. And because he was upfront with me, I was like, okay, Father, this feeling is still here. I've prayed to you about it. If this is what you want, hey. So that's how we started dating. When we finished, we now started dating. And I can remember before coming to London, I broke up with him. I broke up with him. I broke up with him because he was too gentle. You know, he was just, I don't know.
You wanted another wrestler, right? Someone you could give a chokehold.
My husband, you could sit down in the sitting room then with him and not say a word for an hour. I'm like, I can't be doing this. I want somebody who is yuppie, you know, somebody who is outgoing. Anyway, I broke up with him before coming to London. When I came to London, the cold and the loneliness, man, I was like, I quickly called him and I said, you know what? Let's hook up again. And the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So did he come over from, you were here and then he came over later or something?
I went there to get married to him.
Lovely.
I went twice. I went to get married in 1998, April. Okay. And then towards the end of 1998, I went for our interview. Back then, it was much easier than it is now.
Okay.
So back then, you just had to go. When you were married, you had to do an interview. You had your interview, and then they gave them the papers, and they came here.
Sorry,
why are you laughing?
Because my wife has just posted something.
It reminds me of somebody. Who does it remind her of?
I know what she's referring to, because many times we'll be driving and I'm quiet, and she goes, "What are you thinking?" And I say, "Nothing."
It reminds me of somebody. Oh my God. It's annoying, isn't it, sis? It's annoying when they just go quiet like that.
That you are not thinking of anything. But I said, for real, there was nothing in my head. I was in a zone. And I like the way the British
zone?
Michael, I forgot his name, this British comedian. He said,
McIntyre.
Michael McIntyre. He said his wife asked him the same thing, and he said nothing. And she's like, "How come?" She said, "Hey, listen, I have my God-given right to be vacant." Just leave me.
To be vacant. Can you imagine? Oh, it is annoying. I'm telling you.
Well, it's a gift. It's a gift, and then anyway, let's leave that. By the way, you are drawing some interesting people. Lorraine Cater Obi is here. I hope she's still here. She's joined us. My dear
No.
sister Insurance here. Hello. Wow.
Hello, Lorraine. Hello,
Wow.
Lorraine. God bless you.
Lovely stuff.
Oh,
I'm here to bring her. Yeah.
Lorraine and I were at Turn Up, yes, last year, and she was
Okay.
just so beautiful in the artist room. You know, I felt so little. You know, it was little me. She was ministering, and I was also invited to minister. But I felt so humbled in her presence. But she made me feel so comfortable. She was so lovely to me, giving me advice.
Yeah, I think you know what you need to maybe I'll find Lorraine's interview because she was one of the first guests that I had on there. Her interview is just
Yeah.
crazy to
Hello,
the point
Lorraine.
that yeah, hello. You know what? People called me.
Yeah.
A friend of mine called me all the way from Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, to talk about Lorraine's interview, that she was in
Wow.
tears just listening, and to
Wow.
see somebody having gone through the years of abuse
Yeah.
and whatnot
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
be a vessel of you being used by the Lord, that she felt she's got hope. So Lorraine, thank you. I have not forgotten. I'm gonna bring you back again. We're working on it. We're working on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but yeah, amazing, amazing, wonderful woman. Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. But okay, so
Yeah.
let's leave my wife's comments to the side right now.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Well, later, can you come here, please? Come. Come,
Okay.
please, just for a second.
All
They
right.
say, I told them that, they say, I told them that I'm aggressive. Am I aggressive? Do I hit you every once in a while? So,
Excuse me, sir. Does he put you in a chokehold? Does he
yes,
do
so
body slam?
he's run off. Yes, he loves it. He loves it. My husband loves being whipped.
Well, listen, it's a perfect blend. That's what it is. God has
Exactly.
a way of bringing people together. That
He
if you
does.
have different temperaments, that just it's all goes in the mix that makes a perfect I don't know,
Absolutely.
a combination. Just
Absolutely.
imagine if both of you were of the same temperament.
It'll be
Hmm.
too much. It'll be too much. It'll
I
be too
think the house
much.
will have exploded. You know. And
It'll be too much. Oh
But
my.
how many years married? How many years have you guys been married now?
Okay, so we got married 1998. So 22 years this year, 22 years in
Oh
April.
wow,
Yeah, yeah,
22.
yeah, yeah.
Kudos to
He's
you.
very blessed to have such a calm and beautiful wife. Very blessed.
Okay, I hear what you're not saying, so it's all good.
Yes, I'm not saying. Yeah.
22 years. So what's your resume? Has it been plain sailing? Were there strong differences? Was it just
Oh
okay? Was it
my gosh. No,
firecracker?
the firecracker. I think the first year, I don't know, I think the first year was a bit of a struggle.
Okay.
And we had some heated debates. You know what? I thank God for one thing. They usually say that women that come from abused families
Yeah.
end up marrying men that abuse them.
Hmm.
And I can't help but feel that the only reason I was able to find a man like my husband is because I
Right.
found Christ. I believe it's because I found God. And that's why that's why I told you I was praying, Father, let my children have
Right.
relationship with you. Because when you
Yes.
have relationship with God, you make better decisions. You
Yes.
know, the Holy
Wonderful.
Spirit is guiding and goading you.
Yes.
And I really thank God for it. The first year, I mean, it was a bit rough. We had that, you know, our heated discussions, maybe even the first 3 years. But we've become such good friends. It's not been easy, you know, saying I told you earlier that, you know, we were hit pow in the face this year, both of us
Yeah.
by something. But we've both
Right.
learned to weather the storm together.
Wow.
You know, we don't let our issues. I can remember when that thing happened earlier on in the year. His twin
Right.
sister said to me, Nikki, don't let this get between yourself and your husband. And I'm like, no. I said, my husband is just so beautiful. I tell you this. When my second born, and whenever I remember this, you know, I so much respect my husband. When my second born was, I think he was 2 years old. I was, and this is not a day I like to think about, but I'll just say this in honor of my husband. I was, you know, that when you want to make egusi and you thin out the palm oil.
Right, yeah.
And I was thinning out the palm oil. I did not know my son was behind me.
Oh, my.
And you know, sometimes when you're thinning it out, it catches fire.
Yes. Yes.
So it caught fire. And I, out of my fear, I picked it up and I threw it in the sink. And you know that when something like that catches fire, it must not come in contact with water.
Water, yeah.
So all I can remember hearing is ah! Behind me. And I look back. Oh my God, you don't want to know what happened that day. I don't like thinking about it. Anyway, we ended up in the burn unit. My son, my second son. If you see him, he's 17 now, but you still see the scars. How that boy got behind me, I don't know. And he was behind me. I was in front of the palm oil thing, and there was no stuff. In fact, when we got to the hospital, the social workers, the nurses, they refused to console me. They looked at me. They said, "How come you don't have anything on you, and your son is covered with palm oil from top to?" He was covered, burns. They had to straight. And you know what? My husband, I mean, another husband. In fact, he could divorce his wife or something like that. My husband was so calm. He came to the hospital. I can remember it was after the whole event that I now sat down with him and I said, "Do you blame me for what happened?" And he goes to me, he said, "No." He said, "I just have a feeling you were playing games when it happened." I said, "No, I wasn't." I said, "I was in the kitchen and the boy was in the sitting room. I don't know how he came up behind me." That was it. Not a word of, "Nikki, you did this. Nikki, you did that." No, not my husband. So when a man is calm and quiet, and remember, I wanted to leave him because he was too calm and too quiet. Now it's that too calm and too quiet that is working for me.
Oh my word. Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, we've known some tough times together, trust me.
Wow.
But we weathered the storm together.
This expression that's just come to my mind is just these words: "For such a time as this."
Absolutely.
God saw ahead, and he knew that, you know, the kind of temperament that would, you know, sort of not fuel the situation, but rather just calm it and quell it, would be somebody who will see beyond, somebody who knows you and knows that, okay, yeah, you are a playful person, but it does not diminish your love and your nurture for your children and all that.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's very funny because this evening, just before I came down for the interview, I was thinking to myself, my husband and I, when it comes to music, he was born in Oshogbo, I was born in London. So the kind of music my husband likes, in fact, it's like you understand our situation. Me, you know, I like my R&B. I like my R&B. I like my soul.
My man was enjoying his akpala.
My husband will say, "I don't understand what they're saying. What are they?"
What's all this? Come on, speak, open your mouth and talk.
Oh my gosh. So this evening I was thinking to myself, just before I came down for this interview, that, you know what, I really would have liked if my husband had liked the kind of music I like. And you know, if my husband was like a music person like me. Something said to me, "Do you know how many people are both in music? They get married and they fall apart." And two examples came straight to my mind.
Wow.
And something says to me, God knows how to join. You know, because you marry somebody who loves music and who understands you the way you understand, doesn't mean you'd still be together today.
No.
You know? So I thank God for what I have. I really do.
Wow. Praise God. Praise God. Wow. Wow. Thank you for that. You know, the comments there, I think I got so many wow, back to back. Wow. And indeed, wow. Oh my Lord have mercy. Okay, let's shift quickly to what's going on now. Right. So you are you still in the studio, or because I know you just at least completed a track at least with my main man Jason Nichols Importer, which you got me all excited for.
You did that. Debbie Olushoga, God bless you, darling. Sorry, that's one of my friends right there.
That's cool. Hello, Debbie.
Yes, I am in the studio.
Okay.
Thank you. I need to say thank you to you first of all. I'd never heard of Jason Nicholson Porter until you got us to do that thing in spring.
Don't worry, it's not
And
free. I'm collecting tithe and offering, but we'll talk about that later. I'm
and
collecting connection fee.
and you know, and I was thinking, I had been thinking I want to do a collabo. I had actually even approached Sarah Table,
Okay.
and I said, is she, you know, what are her terms? We didn't
Right.
agree on anything. We didn't agree on anything. I just suggested it, but I was thinking, you know, I'd like to do a collabo. When I heard his voice, you know, when the Holy Spirit this is a person.
Right. Right.
Because I was really thinking of somebody who can take my voice to the next level.
Right. Who would challenge
You know,
your voice? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
and Jason
I asked
does
you,
that. Jason does
absolutely,
that.
absolutely, and I asked you. I said, what is his number? Thank God you gave me his number. That's how we hooked up. So at the moment, we're doing a song called Love Real. So it's love, the real, when it comes out. I know I'm going to have to spend a lot of time explaining this. The real is REE in bracket A and then L. Love Real. And it speaks of two things. Because I want to release the song on my birthday next year.
Okay.
And the song is a statement to God.
Right.
And the song is saying, it's simply saying, God, I've loved you in the past.
Right.
I've not been perfect, but through my imperfections, I've loved you in the past. I still love you, and I'll keep on loving you. Wow. So it's a love real, you know, real as in REEL, real.
Yeah.
But it's also saying my love is real with EA. Yeah, and exactly.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're working on. That rift that you saw, Jason. I mean, you're gonna love this track, Mr. Wally.
I bet you. I bet you.
It's a nice, solid R&B mid-tempo track. Very beautiful. But we're still working on it. We've got to get the BVs in. We're looking to do the BVs, looking to do the mixing and mastering in America by God's grace. So yeah.
Oh wow.
But then I'm also working on another song, a Christmas song for next year, December. And that was what I posted. And I said, UV, you know, on Instagram. Evie and I are working on
that's
a little something.
a year in advance preparation. That's
yes, but we needed to get the decorations this year because we have to start airing it by November, so we won't be able to get the decorations then. So that's why. Yeah, so there's quite a bit coming up in the pipeline in 2021 by God's grace.
Oh, praise God. Well, we're excited. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. So please, you need to let us know as they're coming out because, you know, you have strong followership in the people like myself and many others who are here.
And you have strong followership in me too. You know, I believe in. I mean, Michael Dada was like, I remember when I was in the studio and Michael was like, Wole Awolola, he's awesome, isn't he? He's just awesome. He's got an awesome, but he keeps on talking about you and you said you don't know him.
No.
He keeps on talking about you.
Maybe I can't match the name.
Do you know Evans Ogboy? He used to be a kind of music director. He was music director for Evans Ogboy, I think, on the Kononia project.
Right.
He plays the piano. He used to play the piano a lot for Evans. Yeah.
Okay. The face.
Shola is saying he is awesome, so she knows him.
Right. Lovely stuff. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, they're committed day and a time. When we'll meet and then family establish this connection. But hey, my head is swelling. I'm very great and full of it. That's grateful. Oh, brilliant stuff. That's brilliant stuff. Yeah, we look forward to it. You have something very unique in the way you deliver. And
thank you so much.
Is a tool that grabs people's attention. Thank you, Sister Shola. I know.
Our very own. Oh, she was talking about you, that you were awesome. Okay.
You guys are making my head very easy.
It's all right. It's okay.
You know, I'm not in my room. I have to get out of this room. If my head swells and I can't get out, I will have to. Anyway, it's all good. But yeah, the tool for delivery grabs the people's attention, which is your style of delivery. and then by the time you now fuse it with the message that the Lord
Yeah.
has given to you,
Amen.
it
Yeah.
will cut through. And of course,
Yeah.
you did it back then, and the method and the style might be different now, where you evangelize and you minister to others. You might not be allowed to get on the red route bus and start saying,
Start shouting.
I said, good afternoon, my brothers and sisters. My name is Nikki.
It's different now, isn't it? To be quite frank with you, that reminds me. This afternoon, I was on a team call with
Okay,
my office people,
right.
and it's just different ways of evangelizing, isn't it? And my music, I've realized that music is a very powerful tool, especially with white people, because you can't. That forceful preaching we do in Nigeria, even if you do it with them, they'll just look at you as if you're crazy, really. So
Yeah,
I've really been praying, Father, give me a way to get
yeah,
to these people. I mean, I don't mind. I go on the streets, even now, I still, give a track, Jesus loves you, Jesus loves you. I still do it. It's in my
sure,
blood. There's nothing I can do about
sure,
that. But I'm
sure.
trying to make it a bit more refined, and I'm finding that music, I mean, this Christmas song I'm going to do, it's the white people in my office, Nikki. All this gospel, do us a Christmas song, so that we can really identify with what you're doing. And I was like, okay, I just thought, you know what, it's true. Let me do this Christmas song next year. But yeah, I was on the team with them, and we were having this meeting, and I was talking about my projects, and this is
Yeah,
coming up, guys. You guys have got to support me, blah blah blah. And when we finished,
right,
one of the
right.
bosses got in contact with me, and he said, Nikki, I followed you on Instagram. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, that's cool. I was really happy
all
about this
right.
afternoon. And it just got me thinking, you know what? African Christians in this country, Christians, period, we
Yeah,
need to kind of keep our heads down. I know that, we want to be boisterous with our faith, but you become all things unto all men,
to
like
all
Paul said,
men. Right,
to be
right.
able to save some. So it's
Yes,
tactics.
yes, yes, yes. You're right in that the method of delivery and approach in Africa, Nigeria,
Yeah,
wherever,
yeah.
well,
Mm,
will be different to here because of the way the social interaction is. Like
mm.
Nigeria, we speak out loud, we shout at each other. If you don't shout back to
Yeah,
make your point, you don't get heard. That's in Nigeria. I came
absolutely.
back not too long ago after my mom's burial. I came back. Whilst I was
Yeah,
there, the method of communication was
yeah.
speak at the top of your voice.
No, true.
Even if you're just passing it, and to insult, if you have not insulted another Nigerian, you have not
Yeah.
expressed love. Yeah, it's a love language. It's no kidding. It's one of Nigerian love language. Yeah, and in fact, we're out of time, but let me put this in there. When I first went back early in the year, shortly after my mom's passing,
Yeah,
went to stay, so just visit my dad and all that. Then I went
yeah,
to the market with one of my cousins. We just went to
yeah,
get some things, and this was one of the incidents that just it's just shocked me and proves what I'm about to say. Okay, so
yeah,
we're walking towards a client or whoever that my cousin knows, and I
yeah.
saw this girl walking in front of us, right? She was coming in front of us, like going
Yeah.
ahead of us. And
Uh-huh.
out of nowhere, a guy just jumped and bumped into her. She just turned around and said, I can only say it in Yoruba because there's no way I can translate it.
I
I'm
know
sorry.
when.
There's no way it will lose the meaning in translation. But he just
Yeah.
said, Oreo, pewere. Kò ní jẹ́ gbogbo.
Oh my
And guess what?
gosh.
Guess what?
What?
He's a were and you honor
That's
So
Nigeria, mate.
I felt okay. A fight was gonna break out. Guess what? The next thing they just hugged each other. Say, "Have fun now. Oreo, man. Miss Ejo." No, no,
Oh my
no
gosh, you're
kidding.
kidding.
Apparently,
Amazing.
that
Amazing.
they had to shout at each other. Is that so? That's method of delivery. If you're going to preach as well, at times this softly thing doesn't work in there.
No,
But
yeah,
over
in there, yeah.
here, you'll be seen as aggressive. You'll be seen as, in fact, it's what antisocial behavior, the order that
Yeah,
we handed over
yeah.
to you, and
They
you might
don't
even
get it.
risk losing your job. So
Yeah,
I, I,
yeah.
I hear you on that,
You
and
have
I
to be
pray,
subtle. Mm.
yes, be subtle. Um, there is no one way around it, is it? There's no one way around it. I mean, I can share testimonies here, but for time, it's first of all over here, you have to court their friendship.
Thank you.
Let them
Yeah.
trust you. Bring them to a place where they now know who you are. It's not you dropping
Absolutely.
your standard, you dropping your. You're not religious. Yeah, don't be religious. But they
Absolutely.
know that when Wole is around, there are no foul language talk, whatever. There are no
Yeah.
crude jokes and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
funny. He'll crack you up. He's got some. He's probably the funniest guy here. But his
Yeah.
jokes
Yeah.
are clean. His
Clean.
personality is all that. The ladies love him, but he doesn't chase after them. My wife is too much. Hey!
Another woman is a counterfeit. I'm telling you, what you pay? Ọkọ ìyàwó kan ṣoṣo.
Oh my goodness. But he knows how to handle himself around that. So they sort of know that. But when I'm away, they get so they know that. So when I now come to them, and in fact, I'll tell you, a few of them have turned around to ask me to pray with them because they know I pray.
Wow,
They've seen
can
videos
you
of me leading
imagine?
worship. They've gone on
Yeah,
my YouTube channel. They know what I
yeah,
say. They know when I speak
yeah,
about some things I'm passionate
yeah,
about, I speak with
yeah.
conviction, with proof,
Absolutely,
evidence. I don't just
absolutely.
cast aspersions wrongly. I let
No
them
comment.
know. She said no
Yeah,
comment.
I know. I can see her. No comment.
Oh my goodness. And
No,
indeed
it's true.
so they don't feel exposed. They don't feel if I speak to them, if they let down their guards, that they'll be exposed or something. So, and I think that is
Yeah,
an approach. It might not be only, it's not, again, it's not the only approach, even here in the UK, but
yeah,
it's, should I say, is the common one. Is that is the community we live in. Don't say
yeah,
it's one size fits all. It worked in Africa, it
yeah.
must work here. No.
No,
And
no,
then
no.
by the same token, if I take that to Nigeria, they'll just say,
It
in fact,
won't work.
I'm sorry, I have to tell you this one. I have to tell you this one.
Okay, okay, okay.
I think it's about 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I took my children to Nigeria for the first time. Okay,
The
right. So
first time.
when my dad came to pick us up from the airport, there was traffic as always in Lagos. But as we approached the house, just around the block from the house, my dad stopped at a confectionery shop, or and called the woman out, spoke in pidgin. Madam, I better come home. I won't buy 12 cans of super malt. How much now? Said daddy, oh, that's 2.5. Said, 2.5. Where the thing we have bought for 1,080 the other day. Okay, wait, how much? 2,000. Okay, good. So I listened and all that. I observed. All right, cool. So a few days later, my wife and I decided to surprise my parents to buy some food
Okay.
before they came back from, and so I rehearsed
Yeah.
my pidgin. I rehearsed my pidgin English. I said yes. I rehearsed it. No
Woo!
kidding. I
Oh,
said, all
tell
right.
me, tell me.
When I get there, they won't know the difference. Okay, so armed with the money and my pidgin English. Hey, fine boy, I went there. I promise you, as soon as I got to the shop,
Yeah.
I didn't see the lady, I saw somebody else.
Okay.
As soon as I opened my mouth, the pidgin English disappeared. Can you
What
imagine
did you say?
Nigeria?
What did
I
you
went, I went, hi.
You just spoiled the show. You just spoiled the show.
No, that one was even okay. And I went, my dad and I came by a couple of days ago. We bought a can, like 24. I was saying exactly like this, with this
Okay.
accent. Now we came and we bought some, and I was hoping I could get some more from you. The lady was sitting down, so she was looking at me like this.
Are you
When I
kidding?
finished, she waited. Wait for it. Here it goes. She goes, my friend, I beg, if you want to talk, you open your mouth and you talk. Where's all this friends? If you want to buy something, come buy. I beg, apart from that, come out from here. I wait all this one. So
You're joking.
I helped. No, listen, my wife is here. She's. I
Oh
helped.
my
You know what to
gosh.
say. So that exchange brought the lady that really ran the shop. She came to. She was thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
She said, Oga, I wait to know how you did. Everything okay? I said, everything is fine. So I now slowed down because initially my mouth was running faster than my brain. So I was still
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to predict. I said, I said, Madam, you know, Daddy at the back of the house. And a few days ago, we came together. Daddy would say, "Oh, Daddy, Ogana, you welcome, Nado, welcome, oh." And then I waiting. I said, "Okay, I would like to buy." So I now spoke one
Yeah.
word at a time. But
At the
that
time.
reaction from that woman, that is just the Nigerian way. There was no, she couldn't be
No, but that
bothered
was
what.
really bad, though. That was really bad.
Well, first of
That
all,
was
it wasn't a shop, to be honest with you. She was just manning it for her. Number two, she couldn't be bothered if I was even going to buy everything in that shop. She just like, open your mouth and
It's
talk.
true.
Wait till all
Yeah,
this
talk.
press. In fact, Debbie Olubega said,
Amazing.
encounter
She had
at
a
the
similar.
here.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. She said, I can remember. I remember going into Mr. Biggs, I think it was, and I wanted to get some ice cream. I'm standing on the line, and people are coming in and standing right in front of, and they're serving them. I was like, wait, excuse me, is this what you guys do here? But what down you bole? What is my own? I just began to. Is this what you guys do here? I mean, you don't do this. This is absolutely ridiculous. Everybody was like, okay, now they quickly serve me up. Nobody told me any rubbish.
I think that they're beginning to understand that now, especially since a lot more Nigerians from abroad in diaspora keep going back home, and I think kudos to us who go there and we stand our ground, because they're beginning to understand that, okay, all these are our people, we know they for this lab, but we come, they get standard though, they know
get standard,
how things and all that, you know. So I think that's kudos, good on you, but it's all good. It's all good. So listen, it's been great. I've enjoyed myself. I'm glad we made it. I'm glad we made it through that traffic, and glad back home safely. But thank you for sharing with us your experience, your
No
story.
problem. My
And I know
pleasure.
there were a couple there that maybe you haven't ever shared in public before. But thank you so much for that. Somebody
My pleasure.
was edified. Somebody will be edified, because I'll share the video again. And thank you ever so much again. We're gonna bring you
Thank
back
you for having me.
when you're about to release your new EP.
My honor, it will be a pleasure. And now I'm Modupe's best friend. So yes, I'll be on this show regularly.
Oh my goodness.
I got your back, Modupe. I got your back.
My wife is gonna learn some wrestling moves from you now. Oh Lord. Nominate Espirito Santo.
You will love it. You will love it, Wale. You will love it.
Spirit.
Oh my word.
But thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Really
God bless you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
God
you,
bless you.
Thank you, one certain Modupe. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.